great debaters. Denzel has a line that kills me every time I see it. He says that we must reclaim our righteous minds. This is part of our effort to do so. Welcome, filmmaker Reggie Bullock.
During the past year, public speaker Reggie Bullock has been touring the country to discuss the film A War for Your Soul. Reggie blends humility, humor, and history to educate various audiences nationwide.
I said, okay, who was the important person? Was it me, the creator, the so-called genius of the video? No. Was it the mayor, the person that gave it its public push? No. It probably was Pedro. God used Pedro. God didn't care about Pedro's degrees. He didn't care about Pedro's his language. He didn't care about anything like that. He decided to use Pedro. Because if you knew my journey, you wouldn't believe it. I don't believe it. My son is sitting here. There are days when we don't believe that this is happening. Why God has chosen me to be in this position, I don't know. Get a call from Los Angeles, California. Hello, this is Everside Films. How can I help you? Are you the man that made the DVDs? I said, yes, yeah. How did you hear about it in California? She said, well, I didn't see it yet, but let me tell you something. My nephew that lives in Birmingham, his name is Pedro, he told me about it, and he said that I need to get this out to the churches in Los Angeles. I said, but ma'am, you haven't even seen it. Oh, I trust Pedro, I really do. So now I'm sitting there saying, wow, Pedro is on the move. I haven't put it together yet. And most of you familiar with the song. There's a part in the song where he's in a phone call with this girl because he's in love with her and she broke up with him. So Lenny Williams in the middle of the song, he says, you know, girl, I couldn't stop thinking about you. I thought about you all night. I sat up and the television just went off. That's how long I was thinking about you. Now my daughter called me, she said, Dad, I don't get that line. The television went off. It just went off. So I started laughing. And for most of you younger, you probably don't get that joke. But TVs, let me just point this out. The TV back in the 60s, early 70s would just go off. And if you really couldn't understand what that means it's like 1 o'clock, 1:30, and then all of a sudden, if you talk to one of your friends, all of a sudden you'll hear the national anthem, da, da, da. Oh man, time went so fast. And your friend would say, what are you talking about? The TV just is going off. The TV is going off. So if you try to switch the channel, on the other channel, it's the same thing. So the TV is shutting off. I got to beat her down. I get to leave marks on her back. I got to leave marks on her face, wherever I can leave it, so that every time a slave looks in her eyes, they'll know, why you get whipped like that? Why you got that mark? Why you got that scar? Slave master whipped me. Why did master whip you? For reading. So he has to do this. And so he ties her up to a post. Now I want you to think now, this is no fictional story. This probably happened to a relative in your family. And now the slave master says she's crazy. I done beat her to the point where she done lost her mind. I gotta beat her some more. And he's beating her, and he's beating her, and he's beating her, and she's inches from dying. And he says, Matilda, are you going to read again? And she's got one last ounce of life in her. And you know what she says? You know what, you can kill me. But you see, there are others coming. There are others coming. It might be 20 years, it might be 50 years, it might be 100 years. But they're coming. And one day, Master, they're going to be school teachers. One day they're going to be doctors, they're going to be lawyers. He said, shut up, you talking foolishness. No. One day, Master, one of them might even be president. You don't know the greatness that's inside of each individual. In the East Indian religion, they believe in something called Dharma, which is the belief that every person that has ever been born is the greatest at something, a gift that God has given them. And the pastors and bishops will be able to tell you there's all kind of verses all throughout Corinthians that says the same thing. that everybody's born not special, not different. No, I'm talking about the greatest gift at something. Every person born is not special. You know, your grandmother says, well, you know, baby, you're all special. You're all... No. What they believe is everyone that has ever been born is the greatest ever at something. So that means if you look at the person next to you, that means that that person next to you is the LeBron James of something. They are the Michael Jordan of something. They are the Beyonce of something. One of our sicknesses that we have in society is we all want to become famous. We want our children to become famous instead of being good people. We are more interested in, well, he still sold 10 million records. I don't care what they say about it. The bottom line is we have to get away from that.
It's very easy to point out and point fingers and say, you should do this and you should do that. But one of the things that I've always checked myself on is I've always been blessed to have a nucleus and a family that's been amazing, that has really truly supported me. But there are children in our inner cities that have never heard the word, I love you. You're doing a good job at school. I was one of those people that was blessed to have a mother and father that did that every day.
You know how we look at, we respect people differently when we know they're the greatest at something. Even if it's something we don't like. We say, yeah, but still, he's the greatest. We do that. So just think about that as you go in your daily travels, that you don't have to have a hit DVD. You don't have to be the pastor or the bishop. You don't have to be the lead singer in the choir to do God's work. So once again, I thank you for your time. People of Jacksonville, you have been wonderful. I thank you, the church, for inviting me. I'm blessed and honored to really, really be here and be in your presence and be in God's presence. Thank you very much.